Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back to Characters Explained, a series where I cover characters from the game Battle for Neighborville to ultimately decide if they're worth trying. And in today's video, we're covering the plant sniper, Cactus. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So Cactus has a very interesting background, and that's because she's been in most, if not all, entries of the series. But interestingly enough, her gimmick wasn't really fully developed for the shooter games until she was actually introduced in them. As in PVZ 1 and 2, she takes a more frontline fighter approach with her shots doing decent damage, and she also has a gimmick that allows her to pop balloon zombies, which is a bit cursed in PVZ 2 as of now. But besides those entries, she's also quite different in the first two shooter games as well. We'll cover the big changes later, but what you should know for now is that her primary is completely different from what it once was, as it acted more like a marksman rifle than a sniper rifle, if that analogy makes any sense to you at all. For now, let's move on to her basic stats. She has the defense role in BFN, which means that she's more so a defender in the lineup, but like Deadbeard, she can be played just as well as an attacker due to her gimmick. She has 100 HP, and her primary, the spike shot, has two modes of fire. The first is a full auto fire mode, which deals 6.5 damage normally, with 7.8 as a crit. She has 40 ammo, and her RPM with this mode is 480, but that's not her only firing mode. Like Deadbeard, Cactus also has a sniping mode, which has 4 stages of charges to it. The first is no charge, which can only be used if you're literally spamming the firing button. This stage only deals 4.5 damage with 6.3 as a crit. The other stages in order deal as follows. The first deals 14.13 damage with 19.782 as a crit, the second deals 34 damage with 47.6 as a crit, and the final deals 61.2 damage with 98.532 damage for a crit. Got all of that? Good. Because this mode of fire is the thing that makes Cactus so good, similarly to Deadbeard. Oh, and the charges take different ammo as well. No charge only takes 2, the first charge takes 4, the second takes 7, and the third takes 8. To some of you, it might seem a bit overkill to discuss each stage, but I think it's necessary to explain this so that you guys know exactly what her and Deadbeard are capable of. Anyways, now we can move on to her abilities, so let's get right into it. The first ability is a true classic, that being Potato Mine. This ability works like you'd expect it to. When placed down, it'll sit on the ground and wait until somebody steps on it or someone shoots at it. When either happen, it'll deal 175 damage, which is pretty powerful. For reference, that's enough damage to vanquish all but 3 zombies, which are the Z-Mech, All-Star, and Space Station. Yeah, this thing is strong. You get 4 of them as well, which is pretty good. Overall, this ability is a solid one, especially for defending your team. Next up is the Garlic Drone, which is actually pretty good in this game. For context, the Garlic Drone in Garden Warfare 1 and Garden Warfare 2 was fine. It did decent damage and a drone strike worked, but it was really slippery to control. Well, BFN did away with that completely. Now the drone is able to be controlled relatively smoothly, and it deals 10 damage normally with 12 as a crit. It also has an ability that allows it to shoot out 7 corn strikes, which deal 25 damage on impact. Overall, it's a great ability, especially compared to what it once was. Finally, we have the Pedal Propeller, which is a pretty interesting one. Basically, this ability allows Cactus to fly in the air temporarily, which can allow her access to roofs and other high ground that previously wasn't easily accessible. Now, something interesting about this ability that was never fixed is that it takes a lot longer to end if you're going up on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. I'm not entirely sure why it wasn't fixed in these versions of the game, but that makes it a lot better in my opinion. So that's her basic kit. Overall, she's pretty powerful, and I would say that her upgrades make her much more of a threat than Deadbeard is with his sniper, which might be a controversial take, but allow me to explain why in the next section. So as I alluded to previously, I think Cactus has some seriously good upgrades. I wouldn't say they're game changing in any major capacity, but what they lack in providing new opportunities, they more than make up for in their usefulness. I'll just say it now to save you and me some time. Every single Cactus upgrade is at a minimum worth trying. I don't say that lightly either, I mean it. But instead of explaining why I think this way, I think I'd rather show you guys. So with that being said, let's start with their base upgrades. Starting out simple, we have Mirage, which increases the vision of her sniper mode. This upgrade is alright. It could definitely help you see things that you might not have ever been able to see before, but unless you're as blind as a bat, I don't suggest using this one over other upgrades. Next up is Pressure Point, which causes enemies to randomly explode when you critically vanquish them. The damage of the explosion itself isn't much, but it's worth noting that the explosion happens quite a bit more than you might expect, leading around 75% of the time according to the wiki. Now, because it is the wiki, I wouldn't 100% trust that number, but at the same time, it's still an upgrade worth using in certain builds, so it might be worth a shot. Now we're on to her her more expensive base upgrade, starting with looting. This upgrade is very simple. When you earn a critical vanquish, you earn different amounts of ammo back, depending on the charge level you vanquished a zombie with. Out of scope, no charge and first charge give back 8, second charge gives 12, and a third charge gives 18. Super simple stuff, and it's very good. Combined with the next upgrade recovering, this can help you do some serious damage. And speaking of that next upgrade, we've got our first 4-point upgrade, that being calibrated. This upgrade allows her sniping mode to charge up quicker every time she gets a full charge critical vanquish with the mode. This effect can stack a few times, and unlike the other stacking upgrades in this game, this one stays until you reload. And with this one, using the looting upgrade allows you to theoretically hold on to this effect forever, which is crazy. It's a really good upgrade. I highly recommend you try it if you're even partially decent with Cactus. Now let's move on to her ability upgrades, and we'll first start out with potato mines. First up is Spud Spotting, which tracks enemies near potato mines. It might seem like a basic upgrade, but if you actually look at how it works, you might quickly realize the potential this upgrade has. It's interesting, and I think with the right setup, it could be really useful. As for Popcorn, this upgrade allows Cactus to basically place a temporary potato mine on the body of an enemy she critically vanquishes. This works similarly to pressure points, so with that context, I'm sure you could see how good this one could be as well. Moving on to her drone upgrades, we're covering Spotlight first. This upgrade basically allows tracking of any enemy that Cactus hits with her drone for a few seconds. Like Spud Spotting, this one can be really useful in the right circumstances, and it's arguably better if you properly manage your drone usage. The other upgrade is Sustenance, which allows her drone to get some fuel back for getting vanquishes. I'll admit that I don't know the exact amount of fuel returns, but it's enough for you to do a full skirmish in the campaign with it, so I'm sure it's good. Finally, we have her pedal propeller upgrades, and the first one is Alacrity. Unfortunately, unlike the Deadbeard counterpart to this upgrade, it isn't technically permanent. See, this upgrade gives Cactus a guaranteed full charge shot when she lands after the ability ends, but for some reason, this effect only stays consistent if you're in a sniper mode. Once you leave it, the effect is effectively gone. So this one is still good, but Deadbeard beats her on this one. And last, but certainly not least, we have Bon Voyage. This upgrade places a temporary potato mine at the spot where pedal propeller is used, and that's fine and all, but unless you're really careful with your positioning with this upgrade, it's not the best. So that's all of her upgrades. She has a lot of good stuff to mess around with here. And with that, I've come up with a few example builds to show you guys, so let's take a look. First up is arguably one of the best builds in the game, that being Calibrated and Looting. Remember how I was talking about this build earlier? Yeah, everything I said then still holds true here. It's a really good one. Next up is a Potato Mine build, with Popcorn and Bon Voyage. This build is actually one I featured in a recent video of mine, so check that one out for some crappy gameplay and a good insight on how this build can work. Finally, we have a drone build, with Sustenance and Critical Blow. With these two upgrades, you can make the drone one of the deadliest things in the game, and I've seen how good this one could be personally, so I could somewhat vouch for it. So that's just about everything you need to know about Cactus in this game. And with all of that covered, I think it's time we answer the big question. Is Cactus worth trying? Well, I would say yes. Even if you aren't a fan of how Cactus plays in this game, you can't deny just how powerful she is in the right hands. PopCap went the Widowmaker route with her and Deadbeard, and if you ask me, I think that makes them both threats in different ways. And with that, I think I'll be ending this video here. Thank you so much for watching until the end, I really appreciate it. And let me know your thoughts on Cactus. Do you like her in BFN? Do you not? Well, let me know in the comments down below. And if you're new around here and you like what you see, then drop a like, maybe even subscribe, and check out my new shorts channel. Sorry, bad promo. But anyways, peace.